When the Tulsa Police Department released a statement saying that they were looking for a woman named Lorraine Graves, they never expected that she would actually comment on the post itself. I'm going to get into all the details of how this wanted criminal ended up here in just a moment, but first, if you could do us a big favor and please tap that like button, we'd really appreciate it. And with that out of the way, let's begin. According to reports, Lorraine Graves had been on the run since March after being accused of being an accessory to murder. With hopes of catching her, the Tulsa, Oklahoma Police Department shared a photo of the woman on their Facebook page and asked the public for help tracking her down. The post shared on July 14th was part of their weekly Most Wanted campaign, and in the post they said, "The Tulsa Police Department is looking for information about the whereabouts of Lorraine Graves. Lorraine Graves is charged with accessory to murder. Detectives say that she was involved in the city's 10th homicide of 2021, where Eric Graves was shot and killed at the St. Thomas Square apartments. Jaden and Gabriel Hobson are charged with murder and have already been arrested. Lorraine Graves is described as a black female around 5 feet 7 inches and 200 pounds. Anyone with information about her is asked to call Tulsa Crime Stoppers at 918-596-COPS. However, the police did not have to look very far because shortly after the post was shared, Graves thought it would be a grand idea to comment on the post as herself and ask about the reward money. More specifically, she said, "Where's the reward money at?" And as you can see, many people in her replies tried to warn her, with one person saying, "Girl, you better stay off social media, they can track you." Sure enough, the Tulsa police arrested Graves the following day in North Tulsa. Police then issued an updated post and announced, "On Wednesday we posted Lorraine Graves as the weekly most wanted for accessory to murder in the homicide of Eric Graves earlier this year." Shortly after that, Lorraine Graves started commenting on our post asking about reward money. On July 15, 2021, around 4:30 p.m., detectives with our fugitive warrants unit arrested Graves in North Tulsa near 36th Street North and Garrison Avenue. Graves is charged with accessory to murder. Her bond is set at $500,000. This is an arrest, not a conviction. I just love that they included in the post a screenshot of her comment and then pics of her waiting to get processed. What's crazy about this is the fact that she is still smiling in a photo where she is handcuffed. I mean, if she's crazy enough to do that, commenting on a police post about herself probably doesn't feel that weird now. This sort of reminds me of how that killer Luca Magnotta got caught. Back in 2012, when he had fled North America because the police were hot on his trail, Magnotta was apprehended by Berlin police at an internet cafe. In the cafe, he was found reading news stories about himself. In fact, he was actually on the Most Wanted website reviewing his profile as the police took him away. I don't know about you, but if the world is going to have criminals, I'd much rather them be dumb and egotistical like these two were. Makes it much easier to bait them into being caught by the police. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this story though. Do you think that the police would have caught her without this post? Let me know what you think of those comments down below. And while you do that, I'm going to check out some of your comments from the video titled "The Dark Truth About Jamie Lynn Spears." Alec Bonus says, "Brittany's on a warpath and I'm loving that she's finally using her voice. It is very nice to actually hear her talking, for herself really, instead of just through representation." Lily Von Blushy says, "I feel so sorry for Brittany gone through all this, but at least finally the truth is coming to the surface. She is an incredibly strong person to still stand on her feet and fight." 100%. I could not imagine being locked under this type of control since 2008. So it is nice to finally hear her speaking up. Alicia Tapp says, "Ew, that surprise and little smirk Jamie Lynn did is just evil, especially knowing what we know now. Yeah, at the time you were like, oh, that's cute that she's covering her sister's song, but now that we're removed from that event, it does feel a little evil." Lisa says, "Brittany is dishing that tea and I'm here for it." Oh, we are as well. Tina says, "Hey, one of the first comments, I better get a shout out." There's your shout out, Tina. Thanks for the comment. But guys, that is the end of today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I've been your host, Johnny Rogers, and until next time, stay classy, YouTube, or at least try.